Welcome back, everyone.
Hello.
The final preparations are now
If
being
you haven't
made
been able
as we
to hear
head
me
into
for
the
the last
race.
4 minutes, you've just seen the grid.
The focus
Yeah,
for many
now
in this race
we are ready to get
is
racing
ready.
here.
It's the Japanese
As
Grand
it's
Prix.
2, 3, 4, and now 5 red lights.
And it's lights
They
out,
are gone.
and away we go.
And away we go. Who gets a good start? It looks like it's going to be Red Bull with the best start here. As Sainz drops down to 3rd. The two V-Carbs going for it over P4. But Théo Pourchaire will hang on for now. As Perez has made up a place. Bottas has gone up too. Fernando Alonso even making moves a bit further back. As this is really the stage where they start single filing it for the remainder of the lap. No one goes for a move into the Dunlop hairpin, as Charles Leclerc currently just pulling away from his teammate Oscar Piastri. It's currently 1-0 to Leclerc in this Red Bull rivalry. Will Piastri be able to fight back today? It was an inverse starting place for the Red Bulls. They started 1-3 last race, and it was the same case here. But this time, it's now Piastri trying to hunt down his teammate, whereas it was Leclerc in Australia hunting down Piastri. As I will now DNF my two drivers for the sake of this, so they don't interfere too much in this race. As we can see, Lando Norris right up behind Théo Pourchaire here. As it begs the question, who will be the lead V-Carb at the end of today? I personally think it will be Théo Pourchaire who sees it to the line first. But there's Lando Norris. He goes to the inside for 130R. He pulls him behind though. He chooses not to. As Verstappen, he hasn't had the best of starts. Hamilton getting the better of him as they've swapped places as Piastri fastest lap. There's Verstappen with DRS assistance, the Sauber up into P8. As let's see what goes on a bit further back in this field. Looking at Daniel Ricciardo pursuing after his Alpine teammate of Isaac Hadjar, who's clearly getting the better of him in this car at the moment. There's Ricciardo. He had a look, but he won't do it for now. As Charles Leclerc, he's just been overtaken by Piastri and Spoon. He's going to try coming back at him. Looks to the inside, but will not get the move done in this case. Now onto the main straight. Leclerc, DRS on Oscar Piastri. Is he going to glide past his teammate? They're wheel to wheel into turn 1 and Leclerc will get the move done. Norris makes a mirror overtake on his own teammate of Théo Pourchaire. And now we are on to lap 4 of 53 here. As currently Leclerc leads Piastri, then Carlos Sainz, then Norris, and then Théo Pourchaire. As there's yellow flags, it's Liam Lawson plummeting down the field. It's a spin on turn 11. Let's have a look here. He's just behind the dirty air, and he just loses the car and sits just off racing line. But yeah, that's an unfortunate mistake for the McLaren. As now we continue with this race, Pierre Gasly also plummeting down the field. There's been a crash involving multiple cars. Let's see, it's Sergio Perez, Gasly and Bottas will all fighting into Spoon. A little clip by Gasly and he's gone off. That's the second race where Mercedes has had an early race incident which could possibly see him out of view for the most part. As it's already proving to be a fairly interesting race here. There's Max Verstappen with DRS on Hamilton, but it's really just a DRS train here. As time penalty for Sergio Perez in the Ferrari, 5 seconds for causing collision. And that was regarding the Spoon curve incident between him and the Mercedes, now down in 19th. As Gasly really not looking strong at all. Liam Lawson catching him as he's falling back from Oliver Behrman. It's proving to be quite heavy damage here. As we continue on with this fight, it looks just like a mirror image of the Australian GP. These two just pulling away with their own little duel for the win. And then chaos behind them. As Norris down the inside on Sainz, he's going to try and muscle his way around the outside, but fails to do so. Lando Norris onto the podium for VCARB. It really does look like it's a constructors fight between the two Red Bull based teams, Red Bull and then Racing Bulls. As Porsche, he's got some defence to do. He's got Russell right behind him with the equivalent of 11 world champions behind Russell of Verstappen and Hamilton in the Sauber. As there's Russell, he looks to the inside but doesn't go for the move as of now. And now DRS in use for George Russell. He goes to the inside, he gets the move done. As simple as that. As we look at Albon and Colapinto fighting over P11 here. Williams, it's a really good opportunity for points here as Yuki Tsunoda gets a mechanical fault. He had a DNF last race. He's suffering of a mechanical fault this race. It's only going to get worse for Mercedes now, as Gasly is out of DRS range from Liam Lawson after his crash with Perez on lap 4, lap 5. As what I can see is this: Charles Leclerc in his own world now. Oscar Piastri, he's dropped off a bit. As you can now see the gap to leaders. There's Carlos Sainz down the inside of Lando Norris, but Norris will hang on for now. As Colapinto, he tried doing a mirror move on Alex Albon but failed to. As into the pits, a lap 8 here. Soft runner of Pierre Gasly. Looks like a tyre issue during his stop. It was a very slow one. And out he comes now in P20. He might want to try and take these mediums as long as he can, maybe even to about lap 30, and change it from a 3 stop to a 2 stop. As now Sainz has dropped off Norris only a lap after he made the overtaking attempt. George Russell, DRS on the Williams to the outside. A little dummy move played, but he will not get the move done. As Yuki Tsunoda does make a move into P12, Colapinto down to P13 now. As we continue to watch all this havoc here unravel in the realm of Japan. But we see there Fernando Alonso, P14 at the moment. He's even having a look at it. But now we just wait till something happens, because I feel like, just like in Australia, something big's gonna change the whole dynamic of this race. Change the strategies. Tom says rollout's great regarding the Aston Martins he's signed. As there's Yuki Tsunoda overtaking Albon. He's up into P11. The Mercedes really looking racy now. In the later stages of this stint, there's the tyre life. You can see that those more towards the back struggling a bit more for the soft tyres, but then in terms of mediums they're doing quite well. As now it's just going to be a little battle of attrition here. It's going to be a long race, I think. A long DRS train for quite a few. As there's Bottas, he's got DRS on Sergio Perez. He's going to move to the inside, and there he goes. He has a look, but he doesn't yet get the move. As now it's Yuki Tsunoda trying to get away from the Williams of Albon and the McLaren of Colapinto, who seem like they're very close to fighting over position. There's Colapinto having a little look down the inside of the Williams, but it stays advantage Albon, as he's desperately trying to stay within DRS range of the Mercedes so he can support his own placement. As there goes Fernando Alonso, he looked to the inside but doesn't do it. And now Ricciardo and Hadjar, the two Alpines, joining in with this fight over P11. As we are 12 laps in, I would be calling the first stop for the soft runners in about 3-4 laps here. Maybe if you see hard, we could be getting some one-stop attempts, probably from the medium runners. So keep an eye out for them. And Tom says if Alonso keeps this pace, he sees good points. But what I see is Norris being pressurised by George Russell. Russell, DRS, open, the rear wing, giving him an extra 15 kilometres of top speed. It's not enough to overtake Lando Norris on lap 13 here. Alex Albon into the pits. You can see the Williams limping down pit lane now, out on track. He's P19, quite clear ahead of Pierre Gasly, a good 12-13 seconds or so. And he's only 8 seconds behind Liam Lawson, who hasn't pitted yet. As Lando Norris starting to catch the man with the fastest lap point so far. Norris slowly but surely chipping away towards Piastri, but Piastri dives in before DRS can be given to the VGARB. As now limping out pits, but instead Verstappen making a move for P6 here on Carlos Sainz. The Williams started P2. He's not been able to do much with that P2. He's on a downwards trajectory. As Albon, the undercut may have just put him ever so slightly closer to the points here. And now, will Verstappen hunt down Hamilton, and will Verstappen get past his teammate who got the better of him on the initial launch? Or are we just going to see stalemate here at Sauber and see them fight for the best? As there goes Verstappen to the inside of Hamilton. He's got the move done into turn 1 and 2. And now through the S's. It's a difficult complex. Yeah, Alonso was good on his tyres in Australia. He was the only driver to go from the red flag to the finish line on a set of inters. So that really does beg the question. He's on the mediums. You can see out of all of those who haven't pitted yet and are on the mediums, he probably has one of the best tyre takes out there. So if he can push a few laps extra, he could possibly go to the hards and try and finish this race. As into the pits come Charles Leclerc and Max Verstappen. There's the lead going to VGARB here. Just a little bit of perception in terms of who's pitted how many times. Leclerc, he's pitted and he's still leading in terms of those who have so far. But now we see Colapinto in P7. Would be nice if that McLaren can score those points, but probably won't happen. As Carlos Sainz, he's pitted and he's even out behind his teammate who was fighting outside the points before the stops. So that is very crucial in this race. As Colapinto and Tsunoda come into the pits. Liam Lawson, he's got to defend on Valtteri Bottas now. Valtteri pulls to the inside. He's going to go for it. There's even Alex Albon going for a little lunge down the inside there. But he won't get the move, unlike the Haas ahead of him. As Oliver Behm, he's on the softs. He's behind the Red Bulls. And he's yet to stop yet. How much longer will he go on them tyres? It's going to beg a question of could this be a good strat pull? As Hamilton and Alonso pit. As it's Leclerc who gets fastest lap of this race so far. He's really working wonders for Red Bull. Is he going to make it 2 race wins in a row? As Hamilton was leaving pits, the 2 Williams just caught him. And that doesn't look good at all for Sauber. How they're behind both Williams, whereas when the Williams pitted, they were both behind them. As there's Sainz barging his way past Alex Albon. But Albon's going to look back at it into Spoon. Instead, Hamilton round the outside. He's going to get better traction. He's on the softer compound of tyres. He will move up into P10. And now he's going to hunt down the teammate of Albon. Is he going to do it into turn 1? DRS open. Just so much more traction on the exit. And up into P8 goes the Sauber of Lewis Hamilton. And now Sainz begs the question, is he going to pounce back and regain a place as Pierre Gasly sets the fastest lap of the race? He's very close to Isaac Hadjar. But I don't think he'll be close enough, especially with that damage he's got so far. And this is really a recovery drive for the Mercedes. As Sainz having a go at Hamilton into 130R doesn't do it. As you can see, the two V-Carbs are leading, then it's two Ferrari, no, not two Ferraris, the two Red Bulls, then the Sauber take the top 5 places. It really looks one-sided in this championship for now, in the sense that it's going to be between the Red Bull and the V-Carbs. But in these early doors of the season, anything can change. For all we know, McLaren have a mass spike in their car development because they've got all the better actual staff members. So could they see themselves work their way up? Or will the teams generally better rounded, such as Williams or Alpine, make a rise in this championship? As Russell, he's stuck behind Verstappen, who's had a good turnaround of events in this race. He started P9, he's in P5, working his way up to even possibly a podium with this Sauber package he has been given this weekend. As it really does start to die down in this race. However, not for Sergio Perez. Up into P11 he goes. He's overtaken Albon, who's gone slightly shorter with his first stint, and now starting to lose time. Alonso, he looks like he could possibly replicate a Sergio Perez move on this lap. He's got DRS on Albon. He's not going to be close enough though to go for a lunge into turn 1 and 2. Russell caught running wide in turn 3. It was a minor mistake, I'd say, by the Ferrari. As Albon, he's got to defend the Aston on the softs. Out of Dunlop hairpin, now up into Spoon. Is the Williams going to do it? Yes, he will. He won't have the same move done on him twice. He isn't that dumb. But will he last long? Alonso all over the back of him. Finn, your first RB has just pitted. Teo Porcher, Lando Norris, he's still out. As Alonso now alongside and gets the move done on Alex Albon. Sergio Perez, however, he's hunting down the Mercedes of Yuki Tsunoda, who was caught in about P13 when he pitted initially. And now, if I'm right, only one more car is yet to pit, and that is Lando Norris. Yeah, it's just Lando left to pit here. He's probably going to come in the next lap or two, but he stays out for another. Leclerc really starting to catch, as Perez right up behind Yuki now. DRS assistance. As I've said numerous times, it's one DRS zone, so that's why we're going to see so many overtakes unravel into first 2 corners, but then we could see some in 130R and the triangle chicane in the final sector, because they also tend to be some hot spots. But we've also seen a fair few moves happen in Dunlop curve, which is that hairpin, and then also Spoon corner. But for now, Yuki catching up with Carlos Sainz. Williams still going backwards in this race. But how much longer? They will probably be getting sick of it, as there's Alonso having a look at Perez for points. As into the pits comes Lando Norris. Pourchaire's down in 14th. He's got fresher tyres. As there's Tsunoda fighting back on Sainz. He's going to get the move, but Sainz pushes him off to fend off Norris. He's down into 10th now. It's really going to be time to work your way back up the field. You're on the fresh mediums. Everyone else has been on those tyres for about 6-7 laps though. As Tom says, we can get big points for sure. I don't know, because you've got Norris and Pourchaire on brand spanking new tyres, working their way up the field quicker than Alonso is. As there's Norris. He's right behind Perez, who is right behind Tsunoda, who is unironically right behind Carlos Sainz, who forced him off in turn 2, turn 3 last time round. As there's Yuki trying to do the same move, dummy to the inside, but no, he will not get it done on Carlos Sainz. Failed to execute 2 laps in a row. It's going to get very frustrating for the Mercedes, as currently Williams leads this train. A big point to cover in my eyes is George Russell. He started about P6, he's on the podium, and he is currently working his way up to Oscar Piastri, so we could possibly see something unravel there between the two. I don't think he'll come this lap though, as now Sergio Perez slightly pulled out the line, as Sainz just so much top speed in that Williams, just enough to fend him off. We saw it last race with the McLarens. No one really seemed to be able to overtake him. So we are starting to see that again here with the Williams. As there's Alonso. He's getting bored of being at the back of the train. He's going to start looking for moves. He's going to start scurrying around to see what he can pick up. As yeah, it is currently a Red Bull 1 and 2 here. Lap 28, we are roughly halfway stage in this race. And now we've got Albon fending off Ricciardo, who has Pourchaire in the V-Carb on brand new tyres. It's going to look to be 3 wide, but instead Ricciardo will make a move on Alex Albon into turn 1. And now Pourchaire, he's going to really push in order to overtake Alex Albon here. He's missed an opportunity with Ricciardo's move. Now Ricciardo's going to be pulling away from the V-Carb. Is it going to happen? Round the outside, lovely move by Théo Pourchaire. Up into P13 he goes. Now he can try and regain what he's lost on Daniel Ricciardo, as Yuki has just dropped down to P10. Lando Norris up into P9. As there's Perez to the inside of Valtteri Bottas, down the inside, up into P7. Goes to Ferrari. Ferrari really doing a good recovery drive here. As I'll be honest, Perez missed out on Q3. Hello to you, Treble. And Perez trying to catch Carlos Sainz. He's right up the back of him. Norris, however, down the inside through Spoon. It's now recovery time for the V-Carb, as there's Perez trying to work his way up the field. Now, DRS for Sergio Perez. Is he going to be able to get Carlos Sainz this time? He will get it done before the first corner even comes about. And now we push on, says the Ferrari. And hello to you, Tom. As there's yellow flags, it looks like it's Hadjar and Antonelli here. Crash involving multiple cars. Let's see what's happened. It's into turn 1. It's Hadjar on the inside. He makes a bit of contact with Antonelli and just goes off the road. And that is, well, Hadjar down in the mud for now. As there's another yellow flag. Can't tell what for. It's Verstappen This
Round the
time,
Spoon
he's
curve.
ran wide in Spoon.
And that
Let's
won't
see
help
how
their
wide he
chances.
goes.
Well,
Fairly
hopefully
wide
not
indeed.
a sign of things to come.
But Hamilton not close enough to capitalise and move up into P14. No, not P14, P4. As there's Lando Norris having a look for P7. No penalties given for the Hadjar Antonelli incident, which I'll be honest is a fair verdict, as Norris up into P7. Alonso up into P9. He started P17 here. He's working his way into some decent points with this Aston Martin. It's looking promising. But what's even more promising, Lando Norris to the outside for Dunlop, and he's got the move done. He's up into P6. May the hunt for the top 5 begin for the V-Car. As Porsche, his TP labelled it a goat-like drive in Melbourne. In Japan, it's really been a disappointing one. He's stuck in all the traffic. As Piastri has pitted, so has Bottas, Tsunoda and Porsche, both with DRS. There's Piastri limping out the pits. He's probably came out at the wrong point. He wants to try and catch Charles Leclerc, but doing it here, it's not going to be easy, because he's going to get stuck behind Porsche and Tsunoda fighting over P9, and it's just going to go sour for the Red Bull. As there's Porsche desperately looking everywhere for a move onto Mercedes, yet still unable to do it, as Leclerc has now reacted in the Red Bull. It's a little war ground between them, as Verstappen's also followed him into the pits. Let's see whether or not Piastri is close enough to challenge Leclerc on exit, but you can just see the Red Bull limping out the pits. He's clear by a long shot, as Leclerc is ahead of Alonso. Now going to start hunting down Sergio Perez, as George Russell leads here in Japan. You can't even see Piastri in sight. That's how wrong it's gone for the likes of the Red Bull of Piastri. And in terms of tyres, Porsche is doing quite a good job, so is Norris. They could possibly be looking at a one stop here to see him to the end. It's ballsy, but there's 20 laps and they've been on them tyres for about 10. It will really take some time nurturing, but Leclerc's on the hards, Piastri's on the medium, so we could see a little fight between the two Red Bulls come the end of this race. And now, when does Piastri get past Sainz into Degner 1, gets it done through Degner 2, and it's up into P6 for the Red Bull. Now he can hunt down Fernando Alonso in the Aston Martin. How quickly will he be able to get the move done, though, will determine his chances of winning here in Japan. He's gaining, as there's yellow flags on track. I can't tell who for. It's for Valtteri Bottas, as he spun in turn 11. Let's have a look at this. He's behind Pierre Gasly, and he just does it the same way that Liam Lawson does it in the earlier stages. Just gets the rear end a bit leery and takes a little trip off, as Porsche gets the move done on Carlos Sainz in quick succession. He knows his race is to try and overcut as long as possible and work his way up this field, as Verstappen's 8 seconds behind on Carlos Sainz. As there's another yellow, I can't tell what for. I think it was Daniel Ricciardo here. No, it was Isaac Hadjar
Now,
for
by
a
the looks of
lock-up.
things, we're at turn 15
It's in
now.
the triangle chicane, a horrible place to do so.
Well, you can
You
see
just
the
see
lock-up,
he gets
and
on a
they
bit of the
ended up
grass
their own
and goes
passenger.
off. And that's him rejoining the circuit. Piastri, he's all over the back of Fernando Alonso now. Is he going to go to the inside? He's going to the inside. He's going to try and stay with him. But no, Alonso defending like the champion he is. And now we go on to the main straight. Porsche almost behind the two, as Piastri tries round the outside. He's going to have to get it done in turn 3. Alonso stays there for turn 4, but it's done for turn 5. Piastri now 8 seconds back on his teammate, and it's all push for the Red Bull duo. as Leclerc could get massively held up by Lando Norris in the V-Carb, who had a fairly quiet Australian GP. But this could be what V-Carb need to bag some big points here at Suzuka. As Lando Norris, fastest lap of race, he is just staying put ahead of Charles Leclerc. He isn't catching too much, and that is just proving dividends in this race here. As the longer Leclerc doesn't get within the RS range of the V-Carb, the more difficult it is for him to overtake. But now he's within a second of him. Piastri 9 seconds back on the group. As Antonelli is taking to the pit lane, he's doing his second stop of this race now. As I'll be honest with you lot, I cannot tell how this race is going to end. One thing I almost know for certain is the win's going to be Charles Leclerc. Hamilton, now he's in the pit stop. Soft, slow removal I'd say. And he's onto the hards for the final 15 or so laps. He's out behind Max Verstappen, but ahead of Sergio Perez. It's good placement for the Sauber, as it looks like they are both going to be hunting down a really good outcome here. As Charles Leclerc still all over the back of Lando Norris. It's gonna come soon, I think, but how soon? As Norris has caught up behind George Russell based off how much the two are pushing. Norris to the inside of Russell. He's passed without a shadow of doubt. 15 laps to go here. Lando Norris versus Charles Leclerc for the win. It's going to go to the wire. George Russell, he's on 29% wear for the mediums. He's bound to pit soon. So this move for Leclerc should be very easy, but the longer he's being held up behind the Ferrari, the longer Lando Norris has to pull away and possibly try and get the win here. As Antonelli, second race in a row now, fastest lap handed to him. But I'm pretty sure George Russell will be able to take it off him. As into the pits goes the Ferrari. We'll watch this stop, as there ain't much going on this track. You can see all the deltas between cars. There's no one in particular too close. But where will Russell come out? Looks like he will come out just behind Perez. There's Perez round the outside into turn 1. And Russell's out in P8. Alonso, fresh softs. Yes indeed. As he's 6 seconds behind the two Ferraris. But Russell probably will be making his way up back into the top 5 here. He'll quickly dispose of Perez and then just chip his way up to the two Saubers and see what damage he can do there. As now there's Russell to the inside into 130R. Charles Leclerc fastest lap. He's overtaken Lando Norris for the lead here. And now it's the V-Carb in P2. It's not where they wanted to be in this race. They started in a good P4, P5 if I'm right. And Tom says could be a spicy finish. I don't really know. Leclerc looks like he's just got the pace now to pull away. And you can see by tyre wear, Leclerc's been pushing a lot. He's actually catching the Red Bull. I'm Red Bull TP by the way. Yeah I know. And yes, you are indeed cooking. Leclerc, Piastri, just being a really dominant duo. But it's going to be 2 wins in 2 for Charles Leclerc. Which really begs the question, when are they going to be stopped? And if they do get stopped, by who and how? Because even though Norris went for 1 stop, he's not been able to capitalise on it, as Leclerc is now leading them away. As it's a little war ground here between the two Saubers, no team orders, and they've got George Russell and possibly even Sergio Perez catching up to them. So a move could be brewing for either Hamilton, Russell or Perez, as they are getting close. But currently just a bit too far back. To the inside goes Hamilton, fastest lap for George Russell, and it's up into P5 for the Mercedes. Russell now hunting down Max Verstappen, who is now his next target, in order to get a top 5 here. What I've noticed is the two Saubers, especially recently, slowly chipping away at the V-Carb of Théo Pourchaire. Could be a good bid for one of them to get a top 4, maybe even both, if Russell doesn't find their way past Verstappen in too much speed. But currently Russell stays put behind the Sauber. DRS, however, to the inside. He's going to get the done move, just like Hamilton did so a lap ago. It's up into P6 for the Ferrari. As Yuki Tsunoda gets the move on Franco Colapinto. And even Liam Lawson, the two McLarens, either overtaking or being overtaken here in Suzuka. As it's been a fairly good day for racing at this circuit. Hamilton, he's going to the inside for 130R. He's going to get the move done in 130R. And now that's a car between him and George Russell. That car is what he needs, as Russell will have DRS on the V-Carb, but also Pourchaire will have it on Hamilton. So it gives Hamilton a good lap or so to try and pull away, as there's about 8 laps remaining here in Suzuka. And now it's getting closer and closer to being dictated. Looks almost guaranteed that Charles Leclerc will win here. But who will be P2? Oscar Piastri is catching Norris. He's also catching his teammate. But I personally don't think it's quick enough to get the win. Maybe not even second. As George Russell, now DRS on Pourchaire, up into P5 he goes. It's been a no-brainer for strategy in V-Carb. They're currently going to be finishing with more points than they started this race finishing with, if you know what I mean, like quali positions and that. So yeah, in net they are going to gain. Possible 1-2, yes. But Finn says no. He wants Lando Norris in P2. Behrman got Ricciardo. Is it going to be too late of a bid for Oliver Behrman to move his way up into the points? There's about 14 seconds between him and Carlos Sainz, with rough calculations of mine. So I think it's a day late and a dollar short, as Martin Brundle would say. As Russell, he's now trying to catch up with Lewis Hamilton. We're close to having 5 laps to go here, but Norris, he is catching Charles Leclerc. He's within a second now. It is race time. It's round 2 here for this win. Round 1 was about 5-6 laps ago. Leclerc won it. He pulled away. He thought it was over. I thought it was over, but Norris is coming back. DRS into turn 1, and he's up into the lead. Lando Norris takes the lead here on lap 48 of 53. It's a very late move for the win. Is it going to be the final call to decide who wins? I don't know anymore, because this race really is going to the wire, as it is probably for quite a few, as Perez is catching up to Max Verstappen and Alonso is just being dragged along with it. So we could possibly even see a change for P7. Russell's catching Hamilton, so we're probably going to see a change for P4 as well. And then even Behrman, Ricciardo fighting over P14. It's not massive, but it could mean a bit for Aston, as Leclerc back into the lead. But Norris will fend off. Norris still going at it, but Leclerc will get the move done. Is that now the final call? Has Leclerc got the last say? I don't think so. I think he'll go for another lap, as we now tune in with Hamilton and Russell. Russell ever so slightly gaining each lap. It's about a 10th a lap. It's not enough to probably overtake Hamilton, but it's going to be enough to keep this race interesting. As you can see, the Ferrari fighting the Sauber. I'm running out of things to say, but there's Russell to the inside into 130R. Hamilton fends off. Tom Otter says P14 for Behrman will be taken like a win. They're going to celebrate it as Leclerc, he's fending off. No, sorry for cutting away with Russell and Hamilton. It's a quick shot, but there's Russell. He's up into P4. Sauber down to 5th and 6th, as we can hopefully go back at this fight, as there's a bit more swapping. But it looks like Russell has got the move done here. And now Norris, he's out of DRS range again. I now think Charles Leclerc has had the final say here. And you can tell based off tyres, they are running out of tyres to use. Norris may now have to take precaution in order to see it to the line. 3 laps to go here. Never say never, but in this case I would, as Hamilton makes his way back up into P4. Charles Leclerc and Norris fighting for a bit has now put Piastri in a place where he could possibly catch. You can see he's got better tyres than Norris, but I don't think he'll catch Lando Norris for P2 here, as it's really kicking off. Norris is just staying out of the DRS range. He's not necessarily gaining, he's not losing either. So it's really just the middle ground we've hit here. As now, Russell, DRS on Hamilton, to the inside. Hamilton will not get the move done, as it's a lap 52 of 53 here. If Norris wants to get the win, he will have to be within a second come the final set to this lap, but it's about 2 seconds going into Spoon Curve. It's not going to happen in my eyes. And Porsche looks really good to move up into P6 here, as Russell's dropped off from Hamilton. Verstappen, he's going to want to start to try and drop off, as Norris, he's got the gap to 1.2. He is pushing now for a final blow in this race. We are going to get a last lap showdown, even though Norris may be a bit too far back. Oscar 3 seconds back. If one of them go wide, it's all for Oscar to pick up the scraps of, as in Australia it was a clear win for Leclerc, not much threat at all. But here, there's a bit more challenge for Charles. He's got to fight Lando Norris in the final few laps, as Perez has just overtaken Porsche. Alonso, he's in P9, it will be points. But we will see the winner through the final 3 corners now. It's going to be Charles Leclerc. He wins 2 and 2. He won Australia. He wins here. Norris 2nd, Piastri 3rd. Hamilton takes P4. Russell just dropped off at the end. He's 5th. Max Verstappen leading this whole kerfuffle behind him. He takes home 6th. Perez 7th. Porsche, then Alonso, followed by Sainz taking out the final point of this race. Tsunoda 11th, Colapinto 12th, Albon 13th, Behrman 14th, Ricciardo 15th, Lawson 16th, Gasly in P17. He had a tough race. Bottas in P18, Antonelli 19th, and then it's gonna be Isaac Hadjar coming home P20. Boy oh boy, what a race. What a race.
Sometimes.
As there's your race results. Leclerc wins over Lando Norris. Oscar Piastri P3. Hamilton in P4. Russell P5. Verstappen P6. Perez P7. Porsche P8. Alonso P9. Carlos Sainz P10. There's your point scorers. George Russell takes home fastest lap. And then P11, Yuki. P12, Colapinto. P13, Albon. 14, Behrman. 15 Ricciardo, 16 Lawson, 17th Gasly, 18th Bottas, 19th Andrea Kimi Antonelli, and then finally Isaac Hadjar will take the final spot here. But yeah, that will be it for me. Hope you all enjoyed. I'll post the constructors and that on my post section later and in the Discord server for the TPs. But yeah, goodbye.